Today in the Smart Penny Pincher, I'm going to show you how to make compost tea. What you will need for this project are some high quality worm castings, a 5-gallon bucket, a high volume air pump, and an airstone. The first thing I'm going to do is wash out my bucket with some OxiClean. I find that it works really well for organic matter and gets everything off very quickly. The easiest thing to do is get a brush and give it a good scrub. Now that that bucket's good and clean, I'm going to fill this up with water to approximately 2.5 gallons. I'm going to leave a little headspace up there because the tea foams up when I make it. Now to show you how many dissolved solids we're going to get into this, the first thing I'm going to do is take a reading and show how many parts per million of solids I already have in the water as a starting point. And as you can see here, it's about 325 parts per million. So the next step is to hook up your airstone to your high volume pump. Now theoretically you could use any air pump, but I found that a very high volume commercial type pump works the best. Now the best thing to do is to let this bubble for about an hour and get as much chlorine off of there as you possibly can. And the reason for this is that we don't want the chlorine to kill the beneficial bacteria in the compost. Now if you watched my last video, you saw how I harvested my own worm castings from my composting worms. And those are the castings that I'm going to use here. All you have to do is just put a few scoops in to the bubbling water and start the process. Now you can tell they're really high quality because the tea is turning brown almost immediately. I know from experience that when you buy commercial castings, it generally takes hours before to get to this point. And this is due to the high volume of humic acids I have in my own castings. Now as you can see here, I'm already over 400 parts per million in less than 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about 18 hours, so let's go check on our tea. Alright, so we've got over 600 parts per million in about 18 hours of brewing, and this tea is ready to use. I found that using a simple milk carton with a hole cut in the top makes a great funnel. Check out how rich this tea is. Now you can pour this directly on the plant or you can dilute it, and today I'm just going to pour it directly. Now this is so concentrated, you only need a little bit to put on here because this is not a watering, this is a fertilizing session. So if they need any water, then you can just pour some water right on top. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and fertilize some other plants in the garden, like this gigantic squash plant. So I hope you enjoyed this, showing how to make your own compost tea from your own worm castings.